Hello guys, welcome to another week of the weekly Forex forecast. So we'll see that the DSY is still weak, and last week if we check the fundamental report, we saw some mixed report from the French flat service PMI and the manufacturing PMI. Even when they dropped the flash manufacturing PMI of the US, we saw some mixed reports between the manufacturing PMI and service PMI. One is weaker and then one is stronger. But the only thing that comes out stronger is new home sales out of the US dollar. So on Friday, we saw the corrected sales of the Canadian dollar coming out positive. That's better than expected. And then we see the retail sales coming as expected. So that's what we have last week, and this does not move market much. We don't have much volatility last week around the Forex market. So the only pair we can say that move last week that we actually enjoyed the move is the JPY+PS again. So this week, what are we looking at in terms of fundamental? This week is very important for the United States because the report we have now is that it's the economic might slow down because people are spending less because of higher prices, job worries, and possible cuts to government help. They are cutting down government costs and stuff like that. So job growth is also slowing down. So that is for the United States. So if all these are on the table, what are we now looking at on the DSY, which means that DSY will continue to be weaker, and then you can see that it is below the psychological level, which is the 100 level, and then as it is below the 100 level, we should still see it coming down below the 98 mark. You understand? So if all this are weighing, all this economic downturn are weighing on the US dollar, we should still expect GBP USD to continue buying, Euro USD to continue buying, and then probably AUD USD to continue buying, because we should still see the DSY coming below 98 and then probably breaking this level. So the next level I'm looking at DSY to hit right now is 96, probably 96. This level, because of all this economic slowdown in the US. So if we go to Canada, so the only economic way on them is their election. Trump talks about Canada becoming the 54th state of the US. And the other party, which is the Liberal Party, is gaining support. So the next leader we have to deal with the problem with the US. So you have to deal with the trade problem with the US with their 75% tariff. That is what the next leader will have to deal with. And if he has to deal with that, what do you expect US dollar CAD to do? It means that US dollar CAD should probably should buy. US dollar CAD should buy, but that buy might not come very soon. That buy might not come soon, so it might actually come after the election, because for now the US dollar CAD is on a downturn, but that's for a future reference. So, and when we are talking about the euro, the euro, they will have their new reports on the economic this week. They have a GDP report on Wednesday and inflation number on Friday. So a rise in inflation is also expected out of the euro. So that is it. So, and the DSY is at the center of all of this. So which means that for all of this we've been saying, we should still have a weaker US dollar. I don't think help is coming for US dollar now, unless we have some emergency announcement. How they used to, we might have an announcement from Trump now and everything will actually change. If you want to talk about the Japan, China, and Australia, in Japan, the central bank is expected to keep their interest rates the same for now. That is why you are saying that Japanese yen is weak. So if you check the JPY index, you see that it is weaker, as you can see. So if a central bank decides to keep interest rates on hold, that particular currency would becomes weaker. You understand? But it depends on the trajectory behind or around it, you get. So let's see. But later they might hint at a rise, like they might want to raise the interest rate later because of high inflation and trade wars, but now they still want to keep it old, that is steady, you get. So Australia too, their inflation for the first quarter will be released and price is expected to go up because of food and electricity costs have also rise in Australia. So even though some service have dropped, some service price have dropped, but they still have to deal with food and electricity cost, that is high cost of food and electricity, which tells us that probably, let's see, against other currency we might see AUD weak, but against US dollar we might see the strength of AUD, AUD US dollar buy and stuff like that. So guys, if you're just joining this, if you're just watching this weekly forex forecast for the first time, this is Amber FS, and this is where I bring you the latest insights in the world of forex market, the fundamental, the technical. Do well to subscribe, like and share, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on the notification in case I drop a new video so that you can be notified. So I always post about no deposit bonus weekly forex forecast on this channel, so do well to subscribe, like and share. Don't forget to drop your opinion in the comment section, and there is a link to verify broker and verify pro firm in the description box. So as well as 2,000 naira, you can open a headway account, so the link is in the description box. So do well to click the link and register. So before we go to the individual currency, let's check the economic activities of next week. I've given you the summarize of all the activities, the summary of all the activities I've given you. So let's check in details what we have in the economic activities next week. So like I said, on Monday is an election day for the Canadian, you get. So let's see how it turns out, you get. So on Tuesday we have a job opening from the United States, which is a high impact news, and the consumer confidence report. So Wednesday, like I said, we have the CPI, you get, that's the inflation report for the first quarter of the year, that is a CPIQ, as you can see, first quarter of the year. And then we have GDP from the Canadian dollar and the advanced GDP from the US dollar on Wednesday. So monetary policy reports from the Bank of Japan, which they hint on keeping the interest rates steady, that is on hold again. And then we have the report that always come out every Thursday, that is unemployment claims out of the US dollar. And then we have what we call the NFP, that is non-farm employment change on Friday. That is the job report in the United States, you get. It is very, very important. And then for me, I believe this will come out negative because the job growth is slowing in the United States. So for me, I'm expecting a negative NFP report. That is it. But things might change, but that is what I'm actually expecting on Friday. So that's it on the economic activity. So let's go to the individual pair. The first pair I want to check is pounds US dollar. For me, I believe that pounds US dollar is in an uptrend. So for me, I'm waiting for price to retest this level, and then price will continue to go higher, and then we'll break this particular level. So this is what I'm actually looking at. If you want to draw the pattern at this area again, so I'm waiting for price to definitely come back to this area. Then we have price, and then we have a breakout to the upside. So this is what I'm actually looking at, because there's no justification for selling here. And one of the reasons is that if you see this low very well, it didn't validate this low. There is a new high created at this particular area, no new low created, though this does not create a new high, but there is a break of this particular high, and then there is no new low created. So if price did not invalidate this low, so this is the low I'm actually looking at right here. If price did not validate this low, there is no reason to sell at this moment. A price might actually invalidate this trend line and then come back to this area, and then we'll see price rejecting to the upside at that particular area. And what will make me to change my mind on the GBP USD is if price invalidates this low right here. If there's an invalidation of this low, then I'll be willing to sell. So if there's invalidation of that low, so what I will do is put a Fibonacci retracement, and then I'll actually short or sell to probably 50% level or 61.8% level before we see a continuation to the upside. That is if there is invalidation of this particular low right here. So this is what I'm actually looking at for in the market. So if there is invalidation of this low, then I'll be looking to enter. If I want to enter this low, which means that my stop loss will be above this particular high right here. That is a safe zone right here. I will be looking for price to fall back to 61.6 level or 50% Fibonacci retracement level, which means that if this low invalidated, it means that price want to actually retrace back to this particular area. So let's see how it goes on that note. So that's the PUSD. So the next one I want to check is Euro USD. Euro USD too. Also in the same bias. So with all this going on in the economic activities, you know, the job growth, the slow job growth in the US, the possible cut of government help, and people are spending less because of the higher prices and job worries. I don't think US dollar should gain momentum next week. So probably I believe that we should have a retracement back to this level, and then we should have a rejection and then a break of this, and the price should break this particular high to the upside. That's what I'm actually looking at on the Euro US dollar, because if you mix fundamental with technical, I believe you are going to have a very good trading result. And if we now saw something like maybe a manipulation or stuff like that, then we should be willing to buy from this around this area. If this actually break, I'll be willing to buy around this area, and then willing to buy, and then be waiting for this high to get broken. So that's what I'm actually looking at on the Euro US dollar going to the EU next week. So I don't have any sell bias. All bias I have on the Euro US dollar is a buy bias you get. So let's see how it play out next week. So on the AUD US dollar, if you check the overall market direction, you see that price has broken through this significant level, and then it tells us that price is moving in a direction of an uptrend. And then if you check what is happening around this particular area, you see that price actually want to retrace. So here, what I'm looking for around here is for price to retrace back to this area. You get, for price to retrace back, and I'll be looking to take my buy position from this area that will break this level to an upside. So on Monday, I'll be watching how price react to this particular area. So be waiting for price to come back to this level, and I'll be taking my buy position from this level. So you should expect a deep pullback on Monday on AUD US dollar. So after that pullback, you should expect a bullish move from that particular area next week that will actually break this to the upside. So this is what I'm actually looking at on AUD USD. We have our individual strategy. So according to my strategy, this is what I'm actually looking at to happen in the markets next week on AUD USD. So when we talk about the SND US dollar, if there's going to be a retracement, let's say, okay, on Friday I put this buy on Friday. I'm still holding though, and price is coming down gradually back to my entry. So let's see how it goes. This is my save zone right there. At the break of this particular low is my save zone. So if this low break, then I'll be waiting to trade the retracement back to this particular area. You get, if that low break right there, so I'll be waiting to trade my retracement back to 0.58394, because using the Fibonacci retracement, you see that that area is 38.2 Fibonacci retracement level, and price might even go deeper to 50% Fibonacci retracement level, but I don't see that coming because of the economic distance, because of what we have in the economic activities. So let's see how it goes right there. So for me, I still believe that if price still probably come here, we can still see a bounce at this particular area that will break this to the upside. So the same pattern you can see on the GBP US dollar. So probably you can still see the same here around this particular area, and then we'll see price breaking to the upside. So let's see how price reacts at that particular level. So I'm waiting for Monday. So my bias still remain a buy bias on the US dollar. So we have Canada election on Monday, and then we have a weaker US dollar. For me, I still believe that USD can still have a sell. We still have some sell position or sell bias around this particular area. As you can see, price has even come below this particular support level. As you can see, price has come below, so which means that support has actually retained a resistance. As well as price, if you look very well, you'll see that as price hits this area, it reject coming below 1.38799. As price hits this area too, because this is a supply level, and if you see this candle, this is an inverted hammer candle in a daily time frame. So it's a very solid rejection candle. So price keep rejecting, and then we have another solid rejection at this area, which means that we are expecting a US dollar card to sell next week. You still have like almost like 100 and something to 200 pips to go to the downside. So let's see how it goes. So moving to the week, to the 4-hour time frame, so all I can see is a sell setup around this particular area, and we'll still see something like a triple top in a downtrend, 1 2 3, coupled with this supply rejection. So which means that if you want to actually sell this, what we should do is at market open we should sell, and then probably 1:2 should come out from this next week, because at market open we can also see some rejection at this area. We can see a bounce for price to come here, and then if price retrace, it's a very good opportunity for us to increase our risk to reward. Let's say price actually retrace back to this area, it's a very opportunity for us to increase our risk reward down to the downside, because this one will still be invalidated. It's a very short thing that one is going to be invalidated at that particular area. So let's see how it goes on US dollar, Canadian dollar. So that's it. On US dollar JPY, like I said, the Japan want to hold their interest rate for now. She gets so, and then you can see on the JPY, this thing I showed you earlier, JPY index that is on a downturn, and there's a break of this level, there's a retest, and for me, if you check the 4-hour, we have a rejection already. So there's two candle I'm looking at here, the doji candle, which is a reversal candle, and then the confirmation candle. Probably this does not close below this, so for me, I will be waiting for an instant execution on Monday like this, and then putting my stop loss below this, then probably target 1:3. But this is where I'm anticipating for price to reject, even if we want to have a very probably maybe a sell retracement. This is where I'm anticipating price to reject from, for price to hit before any bearish rejection you get. So let's see how it play out on Monday. So this is what I'm actually looking at on US dollar JPY, because I will see that, and on Friday, Thursday, Friday, we'll see that JPY weakness play out very well, and a lot of people make money from it. So I believe that the weakness should continue next week, as next week is the week they actually want to release the interest rate report, and they are actually contemplating on holding the interest rate. So let's see how it goes in the JPY. So the next pair I want to check is Canadian dollar JPY. So let's see, in the overall direction, we see that price has actually invalidated this down trend line, but it's not so obvious. But if you go to the 1 hour time frame, you see something else around that particular area. See that price break through this resistance level, retest, and then we have rejection. So there's another retest around this area, which means that one more retest before we go, and then we might see a retest around this particular area before price actually we have a rejection, and then price continue to go up in that direction. So what I'm actually looking at on Canadian dollar JPY is for price to retest back to 103,200, and then we have a rejection from that particular area, or price should continue to move at this pace. So which means that what I want to do on Canadian dollar JPY next week is to buy. So if I want to buy from here, the stop loss will be wide. It gets, so we have a wider stop loss, but I want to do that. So I want to wait for price to actually reject or break that high. So if price reject back to this area, then I will take my buy position from here. But if price break the structure, then I'll be waiting for a retracement, which I will buy. So any retracement I'll be waiting for here, the stop loss will be below this particular area. So let's see how it goes on Canadian dollar JPY. So this is what I'm actually looking for in CAD JPY next week. So the last pair we want to check today is AUD Japanese yen. So on AUD Japanese yen, both are weaker again, so we should not expect so much move in this particular pair. I'm not really expecting so much move in this particular pair, but for me, I believe that after price creates a high here, then we have a retracement which did not create a new high at this particular area. So I believe the price should slow down back to 90.600, where we'll be looking for a buy setup, and then a break of this particular high. So I'll be waiting for price to retrace back to that particular area. So I'll be waiting for price to retrace here, because this is a support level, and then if price retrace here, we should see price getting back into that range, and then she'll have some pullback around this area that will break this particular high. So let's see how price goes. Let's see how it goes at that particular area. So guys, this is the weekly forex forecast. So these are the pairs on my watch list going to the next week, and this is what I'm actually looking at to trade next week. So if you find this useful, click on the subscription button and turn on the notification bell. Don't forget to register the verified broker and then the prop firm in the description box. So the prop firm is BlackBerry, and then if you use my discount code, you are going to get 20% off of any purchase you make with that prop, and the discount code is AMBERFS20. Everything you will see it in the description box. So in these highlights, you will see how you can actually trade with no capital. So you see the two accounts. So one is $33 no deposit bonus, and the other is $50 no deposit bonus. So you can just click on it and get yourself a free account for next week trading. So see you next week. Have a good trading week. Don't forget to trade safely.